Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so let me see. I think everybody's coming in here. Let me see. Okay, so we are going to do a couple things today. We're going to talk more about linear equations. We're going to talk about polynomials, and then greatest common factor, GCF. Those are the three things we're going to discuss. That should get us through the material that will appear on your first test. That first test will be on Tuesday of next week. I just sent everybody a review for the exam. I believe it's like 12 or 13 questions. That's just for you to practice. It gives you a good idea of what to expect on the exam. That should have gone through your Canvas email, so check that. And I will provide solutions to the review probably Saturday, all right? If not sooner. Now, any questions on that so far? I'm going to talk about the exam now, but is there anything else that you have a question over right now? I also want to mention, just in case, if any of you are actually originally registered to take any other classes online, or sorry, face-to-face on campus. I know this class is a Zoom class, right? We never meet. But if you did register for any classes that meet face-to-face, I got word yesterday from the college, and you probably did too, that we are resuming face-to-face classes next week. So if you did have a face-to-face class that the first 2 weeks you didn't do face-to-face, you should be going back next week. So keep your eyes open for any procedures that there's a couple things you have to do. You have to do a couple of things online, and yeah. So if you have any questions over that at the end of class, I can answer questions. I know it's not relative to this class, or it's not pertinent information for this class, but maybe you need it for another class. So, all right. So exam one, this is going to be our first exam that we do on Zoom. And I don't know if you have any experience taking exams on Zoom, but I want to make sure that we're all kind of playing fair and playing nicely. So I'm going to have an expectation from all students to have the same sort of setup at home. And that way, you know, like I said, it's fair. All right. So for the exam, first thing, you're going to be able to use a reference sheet for the exam. So you can just get a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and you can pretty much put anything you want on this in terms of formulas or steps, or like, remember when we were talking about fractions, we had the little formulas I gave you. You can do that. Anything that you think would help you on the test, with the exception that you cannot have worked out problems. So you can't just like take the review I give you and just work out all the answers and then just use that as your reference sheet. You can't do that. So it can only be formulas, steps, and procedures. That's it. That makes sense to everyone? You'll have to turn that in with your test. So what will happen is on Tuesday, we'll come in just like this. Everyone will be here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to email everybody in Canvas the test. So once you get the test, you can either print it out at home if you have a printer. If you do not have a printer, you're going to have to hand write each of the problems. So it might take us like 10 or 15 minutes just to get started with the test. Once everybody has printed or handwritten the problems, you will then send me a little message in the chat and say, I'm starting the test. And at that point, you will have to make sure your camera is set up properly. You'll have to clear off your desk, and then you're going to have to show the camera all of your pages that you have in front of you. So you should have blank paper to take the test. You should have the test that you either copied or printed, and your formula sheets. And you're going to have to show me front and back of each page. And that way I know every student has got a, you know, they don't have other resources or other things they shouldn't be using on the exam. Does that all make sense to you? It's going to take us a little while to get started with the test, especially the first test. Second test should go a little bit easier, you know, a little faster, because everyone will be a little more used to the process. Now, in terms of the camera and the way it needs to be set up, I've included here a picture of kind of what I expect. So, you know, you can see me, you can see my workspace, you can see that I don't have a bunch of things taped up on the wall that I'm using to cheat, I mean, I can tell that the only thing in front of me is the stack of papers here that are going to be shown on camera. Now the computer, that actually, you can have a computer in front of you, but it has to be turned off. So like during the exam, any screens in front turned off completely. So what happens if you don't have a camera? What if your camera that you're using is on your computer? Well, then what I recommend is that you download the Zoom app on your phone and you join the class through your phone and use your camera on your phone as the camera for the test. So that means you're gonna need to maybe set your camera up, or set your phone up somewhere next to you so that I can see you and your entire workspace. We can practice this if you'd like. If you want to get your camera set up, we can take some time to do that today. But what I don't want is the day of the exam on Tuesday for you to come in and be like, oh, I can't set up my phone, I don't have anything to put it on. Like, I need you to take care of all of that before we get to the test. Because if you can't get your camera set up, you can't take the test. I'll just remove you from the test. Then we have to do a makeup test and it starts to become a problem, right? Any questions on that?
I have a question. On Tuesday, I'll be in person class. I think they'll be starting up still.
Wait, on Tuesday, you're going to be in an in-person class?
Yeah, I have an in-person class right before this one from 8 to 9:15 for English.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's going to be a problem.
And then I don't know if I'll have like a area for that, set up a phone. I really want to have a place to.
Yeah, that I didn't think about that.
That'll be the case for me too. I have in-person classes right after, so I'll have to be on campus for this class because I'll have to turn around and go to my next class.
Yeah.
Me too.
Ooh. Okay.
There's like a computer area to like go over.
Yeah, I know that there's probably a lab. The math lab, I think will be open. Let me double check on that. Let's just say for now, what we'll try and do is anyone who's on campus on Tuesday, that you go to the math lab and that they set you up there. All right. Now the math lab, let me tell you where that is. Let's just go with that. If it changes, I'll let you know. All right. But for now, let's go with that. Where the heck is it? Where's tutoring? Yeah, I made it so that I'm going to be on campus also, but only on Monday, Wednesday. Math tutoring labs. Okay, so Juniper Hall, so JH 308. 308. Now it says here we are available in room 316. So in case 308 doesn't work, right down the hall is 316. All right. And they should be able to help you get set up. So go to 308 first. If nobody's there, go to 316.
So we go there and then get on Zoom somewhere there?
Yeah, we'll have to do, well, most likely you'll have to use your phone in that case for the camera, right? But they'll have computers there where you can at least get, when I send you the test, you'll be able to see the test. Yeah. It's going to be tricky. This is going to be tricky. We'll see how it goes. This is our first time through. So worst case scenario, if we can't get you set up, then we'll have to do some sort of like makeup for those people who, because, if you're on campus, you're also going to have to go through screening, and, you may just get to a point where it's like, you can't even get to sit down on time, so let's just see how it goes. Try and see if you can get to the room 316 by like, 9:10, 9:15, give yourself a little bit of time to get set up there. Okay, I'm glad y'all brought that up. I wouldn't have thought about that. Okay,
So
yeah.
just, we're taking our test while on Zoom with you, correct?
Yes.
Like we're not using the lockdown browser or anything?
Nope.
Okay,
The lockdown browser is your camera. That's basically, I'm gonna watch you. So yeah, the lockdown browser doesn't really work because you can always have another laptop opened up next to you, or an iPad or something. It only locks down the computer you're on. So, and we're not taking the test online in the sense of you're not putting answers into a computer. You're handwriting everything. Okay. Okay.
thank you.
Yep. So now the next important thing about this is that when you're done with the exam, you have to get your work to me, right? Because I'm more interested in what you've written down. And I don't want just answers. I want to see your work because I want to be able to give you partial credit. If you're doing something, you make a little mistake, I want to be able to give you credit. So it's not a right or wrong thing I'm looking for. It's more of, are you for the most part getting everything right? So getting that work to me is a challenge, right? This is one of the big challenges with doing this Zoom. So what you need to be able to do, okay, and the way this is going to work is when you're done with the test, you're going to send me another chat in Zoom saying I'm done, okay? At that point, you can log off of Zoom, you can shut your camera out, and you can leave the meeting, okay? After you finish the test. But then you only have 10 minutes to get me all of your work, right? And that's very important. It has to be within the 10 minutes. You can't send it to me an hour later. It has to be within the 10 minutes. So what you're going to do, what most students are going to do is they're going to get all their work and they're going to get their camera on their phone and they're going to take pictures, nice, clear, in focus pictures, right? Of each page of their handwritten work. Take pictures. Once you have your pictures, you are going to have to condense all those pictures into a single file. Now, the way you do that is going to depend on what kind of phone you're using. So if you're using an iPhone, which most of you are, then there's something called Cam Scanner. And it's an app that allows you to take pictures from your camera roll and put them all into a single file, okay? So I want to practice this. Go ahead, Alex. Yes.
So I have the app Genius Scan that I use like for my chem class. Would that work as well?
I don't care what it is, as long as it gets it into a single PDF file.
Yes. Okay,
PDF
awesome.
is an
Thank you.
Adobe file, Adobe Acrobat PDF. So I don't care what app you use. Cam Scanner is the one that most people use. Also, I've been told that iPhones actually have something in their notes feature, something that allows you to do this anyway. So let's do this. Let's take time to practice this, all right? Because I don't want this to become an issue, because if you don't turn it in 10 minutes, I can't accept it. And then you have to retake the whole test, right? And that's just because theoretically, you could take the test and sit down with your friend who knows how to do all this, and then y'all do the test and then turn it to me half an hour later and it's not your work. So it's just, again, it's not that I don't trust you, okay? It's just that I don't trust you. No, it's I have to be fair to everyone, right? It's very frustrating for me when I have students that are really trying to learn, and they take the test, they make an honest effort, they get a 75, whatever. And then you have a student who cheats and gets 100. To me, that really bothers me. So I just want to be fair to everybody, right? That's all this is about. Okay, so I just sent you an email in Canvas right before class, and the email said, what did it say? It's titled Practice Uploading PDF. Okay, so what that is a link that you'll click on, and it's going to ask you to upload a file to me. So how do y'all feel about this? You'll want to take a moment to do this? I think it's worth it.
Got a question. If
Yes.
I'm an Android user, so what app would I be using?
So I use Android also. So what I use is something called, it's an app called JPEG to PDF.
Okay, I'll look, and it's on the Play Store.
Should be on the Play Store.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah, and that will allow you to do the same thing. All right. So let's do this right now. Just get out like maybe three pages, 3 separate pieces of paper. I don't care what they are. All right. And take a picture of like 3 different pages. And then see if you can use an app or whatever to condense it into a single PDF file. Once you have it in a file, now if it's on your phone, you're going to somehow have to find a way to upload it on this link that I sent in Canvas. So you might be able to do it from your phone, but you might actually have to somehow get the file off your phone to like maybe email that file to yourself and then open it on your computer.
If you have Microsoft OneDrive, you can upload it onto there and you can access it from, I use my tablet because I write a lot on my tablet for assignments, and I can access it both on my computer and my tablet through Microsoft OneDrive.
Yeah, so there's going to be like a whole slew of ways that you do this, and I don't really care. What I'm more concerned about is when I go to my Dropbox here and I open this up, that I see it's going to ask you for your name when you upload the file, so make sure you put your name. What I need to see here is a single file from you in a PDF form. That's what I'm looking for. So let's take, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to eat up too much time, but this is important. So why don't we take as long as it takes to see if everyone can do this. And if you have any questions, like you're sitting there going, what the hell? You know, like now's the time to ask. And I can maybe help walk you through, or maybe there's a student here who can walk you through. Do y'all think it would be better if I did breakout rooms and that way you could talk to each other if you want to help each other out? Or what do y'all think would be better here? Y'all care?
I have a question. It's like sort of unrelated. I'm on my phone right now on here because my Wi-Fi is messing up. I have to get the password. It kicked me off. Will I be like, if I am able to get the password, if my mom gives me the password, am I able to get back into the meeting from my laptop so I have my phone free? Or is it going to have, like, are you able to let me in the meeting on my computer?
I can let you in from multiple places. So you could be in here with like 3 different devices and have 3 different pictures up or 3 different screens.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm going to try to
Wanna
do
try
that.
that?
That way I have my
Yeah.
phone. I don't have my phone yet until I get this figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know some of you have already done this, like in other classes. So in that case, like you kind of already know what you're doing. So just kind of hang tight, maybe look at the review. Who else? Anyone else have a question?
Wait, were we actually gonna submit something?
Yeah.
Like random, oh,
Yep. Just take a picture of like 3 different things. I don't care what you write. You could just get 3 different pages and write 1, 2, 3 on them or something. I just want to be able to show you on my end what I see and tell you whether or not that's okay. Like, okay, yeah, it looks like you're able to do that. Yeah, so I'm still waiting right now. I don't have anything yet. Oh, I got someone. Joe. Joe already sent his through. All right, Joe, I'm going to open this up. Can I open it, Joe? It's not going to have anything crazy on it, is it?
Oh, no, yeah, you can open it.
Okay, so Joe has sent something to me. It's a single file. You see that? It's one file. It says PDF, perfect. I'm going to click on it, and it's just some of the notes from the class. So there's the first page, the second page, the third page. Perfect. I can read it. It's clear. That's what I want to make sure you can do. It's 9:51. Let's go no longer than like 10 o'clock on this. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go off camera here and let people do things. If you have a question, please just, ask. I see some chat stuff here. Hold on. You send it. What's that, Dylan?
Did you get mine? Oh, So
Yeah, Dylan, yep. So Dylan. Yep. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's what I want.
I'm trying to add the files on the Dropbox, but when I click the add files on my phone, it won't open.
Yeah, so sometimes on the phone, it doesn't like to, you're saying when you're clicking on my link in the email?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes on the phones, it doesn't like to upload the file to the Dropbox link for some reason, which means that you're gonna probably have to open that link up from your PC, which means
I
you're gonna
see,
have to get
okay.
the file to your PC. So email it to yourself, or if you have a OneDrive or Dropbox yourself, you can do it that way. Let's see, anyone know an app that works for Samsung? So Doralee, did you get that answered?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Genius, oh, Genius Scan also works for Android. Maybe I'll try that. I haven't tried it in a while.
I'm using the Adobe scan that's working for me.
Okay, Adobe Scan, yeah. Let me see. Is it Genda Rose? Did I say that right? Genda Rose?
Yes.
Okay, so did you figure out, you know where to send it? Check your email, your Canvas email.
Yeah, I'll check.
Okay, yeah, I sent there. There's a link there and you should be able to, right there, just click on it. Let me click on it and see what happens. Yeah, click on it, put add files, and then from your computer, and then that should allow you to do it.
I think mine went through.
Yeah, let me go back and look here. Oh, I closed the, did the wrong thing there. Okay, all right, good. I'm glad we're doing this. So somebody sent me 2 JPEG files, and I think I don't know if you can see this, but this is kind of what we're trying to avoid, all right? Because I don't know who this is from, and they're not PDF files. It's 2 different files. So if I click on it, well, yeah, something's wrong with that anyway. Oh.
I just sent mine. I don't know if you received it.
Oh, you know what? Sorry. That's my fault. I was in the wrong place. It's like, why do I have a picture of my water meter? Okay, there we go. Okay, so is it Anaris?
Yeah, Aneris.
Okay, Anaris. Okay, you see, this is 3 different files, and they're all picture files. You need to get all of these to be one file. So what kind of phone are you using?
iPhone.
iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so somebody with an iPhone, help her out. I don't know. I'm not quite sure exactly what the best way to go is there.
Whenever you uploaded it, did you select the pictures or did you?
I just
Like-
select the picture. Like I went to my pictures and I just sent it. That's the way I
Okay,
did.
whenever like it comes up to submit it, press
Mhm.
browse. There's like a button that said browse or whatever. And then the
Where?
file that says cam scanner should be like right there.
Well, where's the?
Whenever you pressed upload, or I think it
Mhm.
was. Let me look. Hold on.
So I have to upload the cam scanner. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, so you press add files and then it should say photo library, take photo or video, and then browse.
Okay.
Click browse. And then your cam scanner file should be like right there.
Do you have to have
me try
Cam
again.
Scanner as an app before you do that? Or what is?
Yeah,
Cam
I didn't
Scanner?
know. Yeah, I that's one of my mistake. Like I didn't have the app. I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, so I didn't know if Cam Scanner was like built into the iPhone, but yeah, once you have the app, I guess that'll be there for you.
Where do we send it to again?
Check your email in Canvas, and I sent you a thing that says practice something PDF or something like it. Practice single file PDF or something. And then click
I
on
just
that.
wrote my name if that's okay. I didn't.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care what you send. I just want to see multiple pages, right? That's all that's important to me. Because it's a lot easier to send one page. It's harder to do multiple pages, or harder, it's a little,
Mhm.
let me see here. Yeah, 3 pages, good. That's really clear. Yeah. Wow, some neat handwriting. Joe, we checked, John. Good. Ooh, colorful. Sheet music.
That's what I had on my desk.
Oh, okay. All looks pretty good. Uh-oh, is that A and P?
Yeah, it's AMP2.
Oh yeah, who do you have?
Backdash.
Okay. Who'd you have for 1?
Gonzalez, Taylor Gonzalez.
Okay. My old office mate, we share offices as faculty. My old office mate taught the A and P. Leticia Gudera, I think. Gudera.
Just
Okay.
send mine in.
Okay. Who said that?
I did.
Oh,
Let
and
me-
I just sent mine in also.
let's do it this way. Okay.
I just sent mine in too.
Okay. It's good.
I'm trying to take pictures, but I currently don't have any space to take any pictures on my phone. So I need to empty it out before.
Yeah. Okay. Have you done this before? Something like
Yes.
this? Okay.
Yes. I
All
know
right,
how
so
to
you
do
feel
it. I
like-
just don't have space.
Okay, that's cool. All right.
Funny thing is, the 3 pictures that I chose had nothing to do with math in the slightest.
It's okay.
One was a D&D sheet, because that's what I have on my desk.
Yeah.
That's not even mine, it's my dad's.
There's some math in that, I think. There's some math in sheet music too.
Yeah. I mean, there's the math, the like counting. I mean, they were just scales in technical studies, but the other thing was a drawing that I did, so.
All right. Well, let's see. I don't want to take really much more time on this. So if you are not able to do this or still having problems with it, maybe at the end of class I can help you out and hopefully get it all set up. Was there a question?
I'm almost done, sir. I'm figuring it
Okay.
out.
I'll give you another minute.
I believe I just sent mine right now. Oh,
Okay.
1 second.
So what I do, okay, what I do is once you send that to me, once you send it, you got it? Once you send it, what I will do, let me show you an example here. Where was it? So what I'll do is I'll pull all these files into my program, and it's real easy. I just drag and drop them in here. So here's a student's quiz from another class. And what I can do is I can write on this. So I'll just write on your file, and then I'll send that back to you. And that way, when you get your grade, you'll also have a copy of your exam and you'll know what you got right and wrong. All right. So all these files that were sent to me, these are all single PDF files, and it makes it really easy for me to grade. So you're helping me out if you can get it to one file.
I just sent mine.
Okay, yeah, let me go look.
See if you got it.
Are we sending in our written exam?
Pardon?
Sorry.
No, what? Are you what?
Are we sending in our written exam as well? Or
No,
how?
just your work in your reference sheet. That'll be it.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to send me the problems that you wrote down. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Yes. So so you're keeping your answers on your worksheet.
What do you mean?
So like when it comes to the exam, you're printing out the paper that has the problems and then you're keeping everything separate on your work page, right? It's not set up like our homework papers.
Yeah, no, so what I send you, that when I send you the test, some of you will print it if you have a printer at home. Some of you will handwrite it because you don't have a printer, right? So all I want from you to send to me back through this Dropbox is just your work. So you'll have like number 1, you'll have the work, and then number 2, the work and the answer, 3, the work and the answer. I don't need the copy of the test.
Got it.
Yeah. And I don't give you enough room on the test to try and put all your answers on the test. Like if you print it out, I still want you to do it on separate paper because there's not enough room between the problems to actually squeeze all the work in there.
So is it okay if like we give ourselves enough space and then we just do it in the same paper, or you want?
Yeah, you can do that. You can do
okay.
If you want to, when you're writing them down, space it out, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm saying you don't have to turn in the problems. Like I'm going to know what they were. So
Can we send in the printed paper with just the answer and then our work on the other side that just has like numbered 1 through how many?
the printed paper. So you have a printer, right? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna print out the exam and just put the answer, but on the second page that I'm gonna handwrite when I have all my work for for those questions.
Yeah, I just want your work.
Oh, okay.
Don't send me just the answers, because if you send me just the answers, that's not gonna, because if you get it wrong, it's wrong, 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 if I don't have work to go with it. Okay, so let's see, Desiree. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, so you see this? So, I mean, I don't know if Desiree meant to do this, but see, so you just make sure you look at what you're sending, right? Because this is not legible. Like I can't read that. So it would be impossible for me to grade that. The next page, this last page is okay, but these two would be tough. So just make sure, so Desiree, don't resend anything to me, but y'all just pay attention, maybe open the file first before you send it, look at it, make sure it looks good. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, and good. All right. I think I got through everything that's been sent. Joshua, did you send? Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, let's move on. All right, we need to do some actual work today. We want to get back to solving linear equations. And so what I'd like to do are 2 more problems that have to do with fractions. So we're going to do these.
Sorry, would you be able to do one of the ones, I think it's like 30, 31 or 37 that has the X is in the fraction on page 226?
I struggle with those too. When it was in the
let me see here.
Yeah, where I had
in the
issues
fraction,
with
I kept messing it up.
226, which one?
See how like 32 has the X in the
Oh,
denominator
yeah. Okay. 32, you want me to do this one?
or the numerator, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, let me do that. I'll start with this. This is a good one. Okay, so With this problem, the thing I guess that can be confusing is, what does x over 2 mean, right? So I think it's helpful if you realize that this is really a 1/2 times x. That means the exact same thing. Or if you want, you don't have to put the dot between them. You can just write 1/2 x.
So is there a general rule for that? I think, because I felt like there was a general rule, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Well, it's what we're using is the fact that when you multiply two fractions, you go straight across. So this, me writing it this way, this is really an x over 1, right? This is really x over 1. And so if I multiply it straight across, I get 1 times x, which is x, and I get 1 times 2, which is 2. So this is just another way of writing it. Okay, it means exactly the same thing as this. It just looks different. If you had x over 7, that's 1/7 x, right? If you had negative x over 8, that you could write as negative 1 over 8 times x. So the x can always kind of be pulled off to the side. So that might help. Let's see, if we do that, this becomes 1/2 x plus 2x equals 1/3. And now to solve this, the first step, and we had steps last class. Let me get those steps. See if I can grab these. Well, we grabbed everything. We can do it this way. So our steps here are to first clear fractions or remove decimals. So we don't have decimals here, but we do have fractions. So to clear the fractions, I'm going to look at the denominators, 2 and 3, and I'm going to try and find the least common multiple of 2 and 3. So that's the smallest number that is a multiple of both of those, which in this case would be what?
6.
6. Okay, so what we do is we take 6 and we multiply 6 on the left side. And then we also multiply 6 on the right side. Now, the whole reason we're doing this is because if we do this step correctly, our next line should have no fractions. We should clear the fractions away. So we have to distribute the 6 through the left-hand side. So the way I look at this, 6 times 1/2 x, I just say, okay, this is half of 6, right? That's what this means, half of 6. If you wanted to, you could write it down. You're doing 6 times 1/2, which is 6 over 1 times 1/2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. Right? That's what's happening when you multiply those two numbers. So that should give you 3x. Plus, now when you do the 6 times the 2x, you should get 12x. And then when you do the 6 times the 1/3, again, this is kind of like straight across. 6 over 1 times 1/3 gives you 6 over 2. I mean, sorry, 6 over 3, which is 2. So the right side is 2. So now we have no fractions, which is the whole point. We just want to make sure, we don't like fractions. We don't like working with them. So we'll just get them out of there. Now the left-hand side, well, we clear the fractions. Now we collect like terms. We can collect these two together. So that's 15x equals 2. And now we isolate the x term, which we already have. X is already by itself, right, with the 15. So the last step is just to get a coefficient of 1. So I have to divide that 15x by 15 on both sides. 15 divided by 15 is 1. So I get just 1x over here. And then my right side is just the fraction 2 over 15. And that's it. Did that help at all? I don't know if that's even addressing what the question or confusion was.
Yes, it does help, but I
Yes, it
did
does.
have another question.
Yeah.
I know that you had said that you were gonna mention like the answer key to
Mhm.
whoever did it. The only reason I ask is because when I was doing this page, it was hard for me to know if I was doing something wrong or if it wasn't right in the answer key. Since it already happened twice, I can't tell if my operations are wrong or if
Yeah,
the
I
answer
know.
key is wrong.
I know. It's been revised a few times, so the fact that some of this is still slipped through, I mean, I can pass it on, but I can't guarantee, unfortunately, that everything's going to be right. Yeah, I would just say, you know, go with what your instinct is, and if it's wrong, just, you know, we talk about it. You know, like if you're not getting the same answer, you might be right. I hate to say that, but that's one of the drawbacks to having a packet made by people, that, you know, it takes time to get a final version that's correct. Unfortunately, people make mistakes. All right. How about another one off that? Is there another one that kind of looked like that? Maybe 31, or how about 36?
I struggle with 30.
30? And we can
It
do
doesn't
30.
have it in the denominator, but I couldn't seem to get the right answer.
Okay.
That one, I got problem too.
30? Okay, we can do 30.
Oh, 21. 21 is the other one that has like all of the above, like
Okay,
X's in the numerator and stuff.
21. I'll go back to 21. All right, so here we go. Again, we have fractions, right? So we want to try and clear the fractions, and the only denominator we have is 2, right? So that means we have to multiply the left side by 2 and the right side by 2. So when I say that, here's what I mean. 2 times the entire left side, and then 2 times the entire right side. Now, on the left side, you see how I put a set of parentheses around these two things? And I'm going to distribute the 2 through. The reason I put the parentheses, right? The reason why there's these blue parentheses here is because there were 2 terms to start on the left-hand side, right? We had 2 terms. So I have to multiply each of them by 2, which is why I need the parentheses here. Now on the right side, this is a little tricky. You have multiplication already, right? There's a multiplication, 7 times this. So if I multiply that times 2, I do not need to worry about doing like another set of parentheses like that. You don't need that. All right. Now, this always confuses students, but let me try and explain it this way. If I told you to do 2 times 3 times 4, if I told you to multiply 3 things together, right? You do not distribute the 2 to each one. You do not do that. Do y'all agree with that? You don't, that's not the way we multiply. We would actually do 2 times 3 together first, get 6, and then times 4, and that would give us 24. You're not distributing, and it's because you have multiplication between things. When you have addition between things, then you need to distribute. And that's why I needed the 2 here in the parentheses. On the one on the right, I have these things multiplied together. 3 things, right? 1, 2, and 3 things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the 2 times the 7 first to get 14, and then distribute that through. So my right side becomes 14, then the x plus 2. On the left side, let's see, if I multiply here to here, half of 2 is 1, so I should just get x. And then 2 times negative x should give me negative 2x. Let's collect like terms on the left. This is negative x. On the right, you must distribute the 14 through. Is that good? Does this make sense? Does anyone have a question on any of these steps?
No, the main one that I get stuck on is like the division parts, but
Okay.
how you're showing where you distribute it, that helps.
Okay, good.
How did you get 2 again?
2.
Like at the top, at the very beginning, like when you multiply everything by 2.
Oh, okay. So I look at this and I look for fractions, right? And I say I only have one fraction. And so I look at its denominator and it's 2. So that's where I chose 2 from. In the previous problem, we looked at both denominators, right? 2 and 3, and we came up with the least common multiple, which was 6. But if we only have one denominator, that's the actual number.
Oh, okay.
All right, I need all my x's to one side here. So I'm going to choose to get rid of the 14x here. Subtract 14x on both sides. That way it goes away over here. leaves me with 28. Now on this side, I do negative x, take away another 14x. That should leave me with negative 15x. And then the final step is to divide both sides by negative 15. And I'm dividing by negative because a negative divided by negative would give me positive, and that's what I want here, x. And then on the right, I don't think that reduces, so I just gonna leave it 28 over negative 15. Is that the answer in the back?
I don't believe so. I believe that the answer in the answer key is 2 over 15.
Really?
I believe so. I can double check, but I
gonna
think that
check.
it was.
I'm gonna start to get upset. So the whole reason we have a packet in this class is because we're trying to
I'm
save-
sorry, the answer's not 215 on there.
Okay, so
It's
it is good.
right.
It's right. Okay, good. That's a relief. The reason why we have a packet and not a textbook is because we're trying to save students money, right? So it's all about, this is for most of you, this is the last math class that you're gonna be taking. So, you know, why have you go buy a $150 textbook for one semester? The downside is that the packet was written by people in the math department, and there's always gonna be mistakes somewhere. I think it's probably like the 4th version of this packet. Okay, 21. Yeah, 21 is a mess. And this is good because this is what I was going to do anyway today. I was just going to do more examples. So we're kind of working through anyway, killing a couple of birds with 2 stones, or killing a couple of birds with 1 stone. Sorry. I guess you could kill a couple of birds with 2 stones too. All right, we ready? This is ugly. This is ugly.
Yeah, I got stuck on this one.
So the way I look at this is like, okay, I've got this big clump of stuff here, and then I've got this big clump of stuff, and then I've got this clump of stuff. So I have actually 3 things on the left-hand side. Do y'all see that? It's like 3 major things. They're separated by subtraction and addition, right? 3 big things. And on the right side, I have 2 pieces separated by subtraction. Now, why that's important is because as I go and look at the denominators, right? 3 and 2, and find the least common multiple, which is 6. When I multiply that 6 on both sides, because I have 3 things on the left, it's going to have to distribute to 3 things. And because I have 2 things on the right, it's going to have to distribute to each of those 2 expressions. So watch me write this. I have 6 and then parenthesis. The first thing I have is the 5 times x plus 2. Then I have the minus the 2/3 x, and then plus. Oh, hey, this x over 2, how could I rewrite this instead of x over 2?
1/2 x.
1/2 x, okay, 1/2 x. That takes care of the left side, equals 6 times now the right side, which was 6x minus 11. Now the distribution, here to here. So again, this goes back to that problem like we did just before. What I'm going to be doing here is the 6 times the 5, and then I'm going to distribute that. After I do 6 times 5, I will distribute that. That's 30, right? 6 times 5 is 30. I will distribute the 30 through. So I'm going to save that for the next line. Then I do here to here. So I know my answer is negative because I'm doing a positive number times a negative number. And then over here on the side, let me write this out. This is 6 times 2/3. That's what I'm doing. That's the same as 6 over 1 times 2/3. Going straight across, I should get 12 over 3, which is 4. So 6 times negative 2/3 x should give me 4x. Is that okay, everyone? This times this. This times this. You could do that over here again, like I did this one, or you could just think like, what's half of 6, right? Half of 6 would be 3, so we get plus 3x. So we're done with the distribution on the left side. On the right side, distribute, you get 6 times 6 is 36, so 36x. and then minus 66. Now I'm going to save myself a little time. This 6 times 5, I'm going to go ahead and make it a 30 right now. And then distribute that 30 through. So we get 30x plus 30 times 2 is 60 minus 4x plus 3x equals 36x minus 66. Collect like terms. So I have a 30x here, minus 4x plus 3x. So if I put all of that together, all the x's, I should wind up with 29, or wait, is it 29? 29 x's? I still have a 60 over there. And on the right-hand side, there's nothing I can do. Okay. Any questions up to that point? Now it's time to get all the x's to one side. So you get the choice, however you want to do it. I'm just going to stick with what we've been doing. I'm going to subtract the 36x on the right. That way it goes away on the right. And then I'm also going to subtract the 60 on the left, make it go away on the left, but I have to do the same thing on the right-hand side. So I'm kind of doing 2 steps at one time there. I'm subtracting the 36x on both sides, and I'm subtracting the 60. These two together, that should give me negative 7x's equals, and then when I do those two together, that should be negative 126. So negative 66, take away 60 more, and you get this. 29 x's take away 36 x's, you should have negative 7 of them. Last step, divide both sides by negative 7. X is positive 126 over 7. And does 126 go into 7? Evenly, I don't think it does. Oh, it goes in there 18 times. I didn't know that. So the answer is 18. Does that help? Okay, we have time maybe for 1 or 2 more. So any other requests off this page? We haven't done a decimal problem, have we?
Yeah, number 35.
Yeah, let's do 35. So here's the deal with decimals, all right? And this is something that hopefully you know from the past. If not, well, we'll review it real quick. If you have a decimal like 4.5, if you take that and multiply it by 10, you would get 45. All right, so what happens is if you take a decimal and multiply by 10, the decimal point actually moves to the right 1 position and becomes here and stops 1 position to the right of where it started. If you multiply by 10, if you were to take a number like 4.5 and multiply it by 100, then you're going to get 450. So what happens here is that the decimal point moves over 2 spaces to the right. If you multiply it by 1,000, it'll move 3 places to the right. Multiply by 10,000, 4 places to the right. Does that sound familiar to you? Remember seeing something like that? So multiply by 10, it moves once to the right, 100 twice, 1,000 3 times. So when we're looking at this equation here, right? Don't confuse the 35 as part of the problem. When I'm looking at this, the first thing I want to do is clear fractions or decimals. So this is the first time we've actually had decimals. I'd like to have no more decimals. So if I didn't want that to be a decimal, I would need to move the decimal to the right 1 place to make it a 35, right? I need to move it 1 place. On this one, in order to make it not a decimal, I'd need to move the decimal 2 places, right? And make it 575. And on this one, I would have to move it 2 places to make it 175. On this one, I'd only need to move it once. So when you look at this, whatever you do, you're going to have to do to the entire equation. So to have no decimals at all, I've got to move every decimal point to the right 2 places, which is the same as multiplying both sides by 100. Now, we're not actually going to multiply by 100. We're not going to come in here and put 100 over here and 100 over here. We're not going to do that. We're just going to mentally move decimal places. Okay, so for this problem, for this first one, move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So 3.5, 2 places to the right would have a 0 appear there. And now I'd have the number 350x. Then I subtract from that. I take this decimal, move it 2 to the right, and that would give me 575x. Plus, now again, 2 places to the right, I'd have 175x. And then equals 2 places to the right here would make a 0 appear. I would have negative 150. So what you have to do is look at it, look at all your decimals and see like what's the most number of decimals you need to move, and then do that to all of them. And that new equation has no more decimals, and we're ready to just put everything together. So everything on the left side are like terms. So you could just get your calculator if you want, do 350, take away 575, add 175. You should get negative 50 over here, negative 50x. And on the right-hand side, negative 150. And then lastly, divide by negative 50. You should get x is what, 3? Negative 150 divided by negative 50 is going to be positive 3. Okay, we good? Okay, let's move on because I still want to talk about polynomials. And in my experience teaching this topic that I'm about to cover is usually kind of better. Students do better on this, but let's just see how it goes. So when we say what we want to be able to do is do operations on polynomials right now. So let me get to the notes. Here we go. I'm just going to grab these and we're going to do them. All right, so for this first, I know this looks crazy, but for this first thing, what we're doing is we're taking this, which is called a polynomial, and we are subtracting from it another polynomial. So the important thing to know here is that this subtraction here means there's a negative 1. And because there's nothing in front of the first parenthesis, we can look at that as being a positive 1 out here in front. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is get rid of these parentheses. And to do that, I will distribute a 1 through. And then over here, I will distribute a negative 1 through. So if you distribute a 1, nothing changes. Everything stays the same. 3a plus 2a squared plus 3a cubed. That's all the same. But on the second one, you now get minus a minus 2a squared plus 3a cubed. So the negative sign has the effect of changing all the signs of everything in the second parenthesis. Now that there are no more parentheses, we can collect like terms. So let's start with the highest power we see. We got a 3a cubed and another 3a cubed. Those two can come together to become a 6a cubed because you're adding them, right? So it's like adding 3 apples together with another 3 apples should give you 6 of them. And then the squareds, I have a 2a squared there and I have a minus 2a squared there. Those are going to kill each other off, right? One of them is positive, the other one's negative, they go away. And then the last thing is the 3a, take away an a. And if you take 3a and take away 1a, you should get 2a. Let's look at the next one. Number 2, we're supposed to add these together, right? Add them. So again, we realize there's a 1 here and a 1 here, and we can distribute the 1s through. See, this time it's one, it's a positive one on both of them, right? This one had a negative, this one has a positive. So really what happens is nothing changes. Your parentheses really just kind of drop away. And then you do the same thing, you collect like terms. Any questions so far? I'm going to collect like terms. I've
I
got
have a
this.
question.
Yes.
So on the previous problem where it was the 3A and the -A, you would add those because they're both blue, or they're both
Yeah.
this first. So the 3A, okay, so it's 2A, and then you get another 2. All right, so you get that 2A plus 2A squared minus 2A squared, so that cancels out then. Oh
They
no, it's
cancel
right
each
there.
other. Right
Oh
there.
yeah,
Those cancel each other.
they cancel, and then the 3A cubed, 3. Okay, that's 6A. Okay, I see what you were doing now. All right.
Yeah, so you're bringing up kind of a good point here. Like for the A cubed, right? For that A cubed, what we wound up doing was taking the number in front 3 and adding the number in front there 3. 3 plus 3 was 6, right? So that's where that 6 came from. That's important because look over at this problem right now. We have 3/5 A cubed and we want to subtract from it 3A cubed. So that means what we need to figure out how many A cubes we have, we actually need to take the 3/5 that's in front and the -3 that's here, and we need to figure out what that is. So we need to figure out what is 3/5, take away 3. Just like over here, it was 3 plus 3 gave us 6. We looked at the numbers in front, same thing here, 3/5, take away 3, that will be the number in front of A cubed. But we have to figure out what that is, right? Like, what is this? So you go back to what we learned about subtraction of fractions, rewrite the 3 as 3/1, and then do that little thing I taught you, where you do this times this, that's 3, and then this times this, we're gonna go -15, and then this times this, which is 5. So you wind up getting -12/5. That is gonna be the number that's in front of this. That's how many A cubes we have. Is that okay? We got to do the same thing for A squared. So for the A squared, here I have 2 of them, and here I have -2/5. So I'm going to have to be able to put together the 2 and the -2/5. So I'll do that up here. I'm taking 2 and I'm subtracting 2/5. So I'm rewriting the 2 as 2/1. And then I'm playing that little game again. 5 times 2 is 10. Minus 1 times 2 is 2. Over 1 times 5 is 5. So we should get 8/5. That's what will be in front of the A squared. So plus 8/5 A squared. Is this all making sense? I mean, it's a lot easier when the numbers are nice, right? Like 3 plus 3, oh, that's 6. You know, 3 take away 1, you get 2. That's easy. But when they're fractions, it's a little more work. We have one more thing to look at here. We have 3A, and then we want to add to that 6A. Well, those are nice numbers. 3 plus 6 is 9. So we should just get plus 9A. And that should be it. I will leave number 3 to you. That's going to be a lot of fractions to mess with. I would just warn you again, that's a -1. So you'll have to distribute the negative through first, which will change all the signs. On the first one, there's a 1, so it will not change the signs. And then you're gonna have to play that same game where you mess with the numbers in front and like do your little fraction stuff. I really wanted to look at number 4 and number 5. So for number 4, we only have 9 minutes left. So for number 4, what we mean here to do 4x minus 3 squared, what we mean is that you want to do 4x minus 3 times itself, 4x minus 3. That's what it means to square something like that. So to do this, a lot of you probably remember learning this thing called FOIL. You remember hearing that before? FOIL. Okay, I actually don't teach FOIL. And the reason I don't teach FOIL is because of number 5. Okay, because number 5, you can't use FOIL. So I like to teach a slightly different way. Maybe this will help. Maybe this will help. Maybe it'll confuse you. I'm not sure. The way you multiply something like this is this. You start with the first guy sitting in the first parenthesis. Okay, start with that one. And you will distribute that through to those two. Okay, so let's do that. What would 4x times 4x be?
8x.
Careful, you're multiplying.
16.
16.
16
And then the x's are multiplying also. So 16
x squared.
x squared. So yeah, just be careful, because if you were adding them, it would be 8x, but you're multiplying them. So 16x squared. And then what about the 4x times the negative 3?
Negative 12x.
Negative 12x. Good. Okay. We good with that? That's the first step. The next step is to move to the second term in the first parenthesis, which is negative 3, and do the same thing. Distribute that to both of those. So what's negative 3 times 4x?
Negative 12x.
Negative 12x. And then the last thing, what's negative 3 times negative 3?
Positive 9.
Positive 9. There we go. There's one more step to do. We can collect like terms together. We have minus 12x minus another 12x. That should give us minus 24x, and then plus 9. This is correct. This is the answer. So the method is this, not FOIL, but it's you start here with the first one, distribute it through. Once you've done that, you move to the next one, distribute it through, right? Now, if you actually check it, that's exactly what FOIL is, all right? So like when you do FOIL back wherever you learned it, this FOIL means first ones, right? So that's actually this right here. That's the first ones being multiplied. And then O means outer, so that's this one, the outer ones. The I means inner, that's these two on the inside. And then L means last, so it's the last two. So it's the exact same multiplication, all right? But this method breaks down when you try and do this. So I'm going to try and use that same method. Start with the first one and distribute it. 1, 2, see 3 multiplications. After I do that, I'm going to move to the negative 3 and I will distribute it to the 3 things in the other parenthesis, and then I'll be done. Right, so I'm going to have a total of 6 multiplications to do here. So let's start with this first one. X times x squared would give me x cubed. That's that first one. Let me start over. So here to here, that's x cubed. And then I go here to here, which is going to be plus 3x squared. Then I go here to here, that would be 9x. So I've taken care of the x getting distributed through. Now I move on to the negative 3. Negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times positive 3x is negative 9x. And negative 3 times positive 9 is negative 27. Collect like terms and we're done. Ooh. Wow. Bunch of stuff cancels. The 3x squared here cancels with the minus 3x squared. The 9x cancels with the minus 9x. All we have left is that minus 27 at the end. Okay, we're out of time. So let me just, if you just give me a moment, I want to bring up the review real quick, because there's a few things we won't be able to do that I'm now officially removing from the review because we weren't able to get to it. So if you look, here's the review that I sent you on email. We didn't talk about factoring, so don't worry about 8 and 9. I won't test you on that. But yeah, everything else is okay. Oh, wait, hold on, this word problem, sorry. Not the word problem, the, shoot, come on. So 7, 8, and 9, skip 7, 8, and 9. Skip 7, 8, and 9 on the review, all right? Everything else on that review is fair game. And notice that the last two things on this review say that you need to be able to do 2 problems from page 222. So if you bring up page 222 on the review or on the packet, it's these word problems. I am going to give you 2 of those problems. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but I'm going to give you 2 of them. Exactly those problems. I'm not going to change them at all. Okay? So be prepared for that. Anything else? I'm gonna stop recording. But if there's any other